Alright, welcome everybody back to the channel. This video is going to be covering the two main factions that I believe are best suited for beginners. CA actually recommends that you go with the Empire, Grand Cathay, or the High Elves. I disagree with that a little bit. We're going to look at the Empire though. The Empire is the one that I do agree with, except they recommend Carl. I love Carl. He is good, and if you're a little more experienced in the game, then yes, it can be a really good faction. But an easier one to start off if you're brand new would be Volkmar the Grim. There are multiple reasons for this. His starting location is a big one. Now it seems like this may not be the best to some people, but in reality, in the desert, things are further from you, which means you're going to come into contact with other factions not as often, which means you have less chance for the AI's anti-player bias to come into effect. CA says they fixed this, but we all know they haven't, at least those of us who have been playing for a while, because the more you meet other factions, the more they find any little reason to declare war on you, and you find yourself at war with a ton of factions all at once. So that's one reason he's a good start. Another reason is the fact that his units that he gives buffs to, these guys right here, they're unbreakable. Alright, they will fight to the last. And you're fighting against vampires, you're fighting against Tomb Kings in this area, and demons. These guys won't break. They won't cower and run away. So they will hold. But the other reason that he is honestly my number one pick for beginners is because of his abilities. Alright, we're going to go into him real quick. Alright, so, as we said, desert, you got Tomb Kings all around you. There are vampires just over here. Can't see them yet, but you'll meet them soon. There are lizard men, which they're happy with you as long as you're fighting the undead of either kind. But they can sour, so you got to be careful with that. Let's look at his abilities here. So he's basically a warrior priest, which he gives bonuses to, by the way. He increases the initial rank. You can get some buildings that increase their initial rank too, but he's got this right here. This is first ability, not a spell, ability that has a cooldown on it. Plus 25 to the attack, chance to hit is what that is. It's not the damage, but it's how often they're going to hit the enemy. His next one, a ward save, 20% area effect, alright? And then this sucker right here. This sucker rains fire down from the heavens. As you can see, it does not affect your friendly units. Alright, so he can be in the thick of it, giving buffs to his men, and then bombarding the enemy with this, breaking their morale, disintegrating the undead. And because of his lovely ability with increasing the warrior priests, which aren't real hard to get, as you can see right here, it's just a level 3 building. You're going to be able to get those soon, which means you'll get this, your first one, he's going to come out the gate, level 5. Alright, you get a few warrior priests in an army, you run and fight Tomb Kings, you get a couple of unbreakables on your front lines, but if you want, honestly, I send the warrior priests in first. Charge them, get them to cluster up on you, then you just cycle through those buffs, and they get bombardment, the soul fire coming down from the heavens, they crumble. Now, these are the main reasons I think he is a good beginner faction if you're going with the Empire. Carl is good, but I would recommend this guy first. With Carl, you have to deal with diplomacy a lot more and the intricacies of the elect accounts. So there's other mechanics you gotta deal with. Real quick, another reason the Empire is a good one is you have multiple options when looking at your research. You can start from multiple locations, focus on what you want to focus, depending on what kind of armies you want to build. There are some factions you have to have certain buildings created first before you unlock certain types of research. But the Empire has multiple options here. Alright, let's get back over to my other pick. My second pick for beginners would actually be the Dwarves, which CA doesn't recommend. I don't really understand why. but I would recommend either Thorgrim here, the big guy, the main guy, increase relations with dwarves, making it easier to confederate. His commandments for if you own a province are increased. He also starts off with a really good capital. His location, yeah, you got some enemies, but you're going to have that regardless. And dwarves, really high on their leadership. Their morale, basically, very hard to break. Alright, especially late, mid, and late game. Dwarves also massive income mid and late game. But I actually would start with this guy. And we're going to go in real quick and I'm going to show you why. Okay, so as you see these little symbols here talking about the oath gold, that is used in their forge. Another reason the dwarves are amazing is the fact that they can create. You don't have to go looking for magic items, magic weapons from combat and stuff. You can make them, alright? And this lord right here, he increases the output from the buildings that give him this stuff, and he reduces the crafting costs. Alright? Another big thing, your rune smiths. Dwarves don't have magic, alright? But they do have runes, which in reality is a kind of magic, but it doesn't run off of the mana, the winds of magic. He reduces the upkeep of the rune smiths and increases their rank, which is something you're going to want. So that's another reason I would recommend him. The other main reason is his starting territory starts with a gold mine. Dwarves, all the mines, they can make them a level higher than anybody else. Thorgrim, the other guy I was talking about, the main lord who's up further north, he starts out with a diamond mine. Same kind of thing. He can go up to level 4. But, let me go back to it real quick. But as you can see, you also get oath gold generated from this mine. Okay? Now, let's look at the research real quick. They have a lot of research. Lots focusing on attack, and a lot focusing on their economy. Mid and late game, you will field so many armies, so many high tier armies. It'll be ridiculous. You'll be able to pump out more men than any other faction almost. And then, of course, artillery. You know, you get this little grudge thrower in the beginning, but the dwarves have some amazing artillery, and the fact that they get flyers. So, he's got a pretty good location. Good location, good buffs. This is the reason he's one of my top recommendations for brand new players. His mechanics aren't that complicated. You know, there are others out there who technically, yes, I would say are stronger early game than, let's say, the Empire like we were talking about, but they have different mechanics that are a little bit more complicated to learn. These two guys, though, would be your easiest to learn, and they will be powerhouses. Alright? So, hope you guys enjoyed that video. I'm going to do another one later that's going to talk about maybe a couple others that I would recommend, but I'm also going to do a video talking about the ones I definitely would not recommend for beginners to the Total War series at all. So, if you guys liked it, found it helpful, please hit that like, subscribe, leave a comment, good or bad, and if you got something that you really want to see down the road, let me know. Thank you very much. You guys have a good day.